Hello, I'm Fred Fries, here to review the best part of the universal cycle theory, its conclusion. The second half of the book explains two areas of physics and cosmology that have remained the center of debate, at least going back to the time of the ancient Greeks. The authors explain the cause of gravitation and what lies beyond the observable universe. I was astonished by the simplicity and credibility of their explanations. Chapter 11 should be of great interest to all audiences. Giving the 400-year history of gravitational theories fits perfectly. This layout should persuade readers that Newton got it wrong by stating that a force causes gravitation. This chapter also describes a simple water vortex experiment that simulates gravitation. The image here shows the result, with a circle of pepper gravitating toward the center of a container subjected to a vortex. I was surprised how the authors used such simple illustrations to make complex mechanical processes understandable. The heart of the book comes in Chapter 12. This is a powerhouse chapter that explains gravitation mechanically. It methodically builds upon the ideas introduced in the first 11 chapters. And although complex here and there, it hammers home the mechanical view of gravitation. By using images such as this one of Jupiter's magnetic field, I was impressed how the authors showed that magnetic-like flows and gravitation are actually closely related. The authors use images, such as this one, to illustrate their mechanical explanation of gravitation. It shows how various types of ethereal matter are ejected and then deflected from a rotating surface. These types of distributions of matter contribute to the density layers associated with gravitation. The authors do a tremendous job of placing these simple, comprehensible illustrations just at the right places in the book. Believe me, mathematics is not my forte, but mathematically inclined readers may better appreciate the occasional use of equations, which the authors employed in this case to explain three different states of gravitation. According to their theory, gravitation always involves a medium, and the density of the medium determines whether the gravitation is solid-like, liquid-like, or gaseous-like, described by the different equations near the top of the graph. The authors describe gravitation as an imperfect process, which idealized equations can never perfectly describe. They back up this claim with the results from NASA's GRACE project, shown in the image. The two halves of the globe depict gravitational anomalies on Earth. This is yet another example of the way the authors use simple concepts and illustrations to drive home key points. They also use images of the vertical and horizontal motions of hurricanes to illustrate motions associated with gravitation. They explain why physicists currently overemphasize the inward motion directed toward the core of a cosmological spheroid, while ignoring other related but less dominant motions. The universal cycle theory shows how all cosmological vortices produce layered distributions of matter. This image shows the layers in and around Earth, ordered by the bulk densities of the materials and gases. There are 5 main density layers inside Earth's surface, as well as the 5 main density layers in Earth's atmosphere. The authors explain why layers of matter contribute to the pressure differences that cause gravitation. Mathematically inclined readers will appreciate the universal cycle theory's total mass equation. The authors describe this as a needed modification to Newton's third law of motion to conform to infinity. Newton had it wrong when he stated that unexplained attractive forces cause gravity. The authors do a great job of showing why pressure among all forms of matter causes all motions, including gravitation. There is nothing like concrete examples and case studies to demonstrate a point. Chapter 13 supplies a plethora of them. It should convince readers of neomechanical gravitation. Using their hierarchical model, the authors explain black holes as ordinary solid-like forms of matter, consisting of a dense collection of ether-1 particles at the center of a rotation. The authors explain how this is similar to the way that atoms heavily concentrate inside a star at the center of a stellar vortex. One of the amazing explanations given in the universal cycle theory is the cause of the supercontinent cycle and its link to gravitation. Before reading the book, I didn't even know that supercontinents developed, let alone in repeating cycles. One of the revolutionary ideas is that all motions are caused by interactions between the macrocosm, which involves external factors, and the microcosm, which involves internal factors. They convincingly explain how internal and external factors contribute to the supercontinent cycle. The layered distribution of matter is an important part of the universal cycle theory. It couldn't be more contentious than its use in explaining atomic theory. Their explanation is clear and consistent. It shows that all vortices redistribute matter into layers according to density. This happens in atoms, planets, stars, galaxies, and a neutron star, as depicted in the figure. The authors show that atoms are ordinary forms of matter in the infinite hierarchy. They are bonded in layers by gravitation, just as all other forms of matter. Using relativism and the hierarchical model, the universal cycle theory concludes that a structure exists that engulfs the observable universe, which the authors call the Local Mega-Vortex. They conclude that the Local Mega-Vortex must be in one of many evolutionary stages, depicted here by the stages of a vortex similar to the Sun. The authors go on to show why the Local Mega-Vortex scenarios explain large-scale observations far better than the Big Bang Theory or the already discredited steady-state theories. The universal cycle theory evaluates 4 possible scenarios involving the Local Mega-Vortex. The image here depicts one of these scenarios, with the observable universe, marked by the red dot, orbiting the Local Mega-Vortex at a distant radius, marked by the small yellow dots. After reading this chapter, the new and unique arguments given by the authors should have supporters of the Big Bang Theory quaking in their boots, or at least shaking their heads. All readers should be seriously considering the universal cycle theory by now. For most readers, the point of the book has already been well made. To tell you the truth, this is where I stopped reading. However, for those interested in the mathematics, Appendix A describes the equation used for building the cyclical models used in the book. The equation can be used to build complex models, such as the one shown here. This particular model correlates with volcanic episodes and global climate cycles over the past 100 million years. In the graph, the vertical grid line at 0 marks the present. Appendix B describes the test plan used for validating the UWS cycles. The figure here shows the raw time series plot of a global climate data set from geologist James Zakos. Rather than resulting from statistical noise, the large variation seen during all periods in the plot represents oscillations in climate due to the occurrence of cycle upon cycle upon cycle upon cycle. The universal cycle theory is a must-read for anyone interested in science. It includes mathematics, but is written so that a novice can understand it. In all likelihood, it will change your views of the universe, just as it did for me. Its extensive use of quotations and 40 pages of references added to its credibility. Its use of bullet points made reading easy on my eyes. The chapter summaries and conclusions were great additions that are not present in most science books. This was a fantastic, eye-opening book that I highly recommend. Order it at Amazon.com to learn what will surely become the new paradigm for science. Well, that concludes my review of the universal cycle theory. If you have an open mind, you will find the ideas presented in this book of the highest caliber. Its content will make you question many aspects of currently accepted theories. Moreover, its coverage is so extensive that this brief review only touches on some of the major points in the book. The only way to fully appreciate this tremendous work is to read it. This is Fred Fries saying goodbye and enjoy reading the Universal Cycle Theory.